This is NDTV. And you're watching NDTV Hindu.
Hello and welcome to the news tonight on NDTV Hindu. Good evening, it's 9 on the clock. I'm Evelyn Nafsi.
I'm Shabir Ahmed and I'll bring you all the latest on the tale of two MPs.
Faulty lift crushes a boy to death in Chennai's Aminjikarai.
Well, to all you footy fanatics, you better brace yourselves as we've got a little good and a little bad. I'm Natasha Doraiswamy and I'll be bringing you the latest on that.
That's right, plenty coming your way in the next 30 minutes. But before that, a look at our top stories tonight. After DMK MP Vasanthi Stanley is accused for her role in forgery, she cries innocent. But that's not what the actual papers suggest.
I claim that I'm innocent, 100%. I never indulged in any such activities in my life.
Meanwhile, another MP is given the show cause notice by the party for endorsing a temple at Ayodhya, but Helen Davidson denies the charge. After Jayalalitha, the Chief Minister strikes a chord with the contract workers of NLC, assuring them action, but the workers are still stubborn.
நாங்கள் போராட்டத்தை கைவிடுவதா போராட்டத்தை தொடர்வதா என்பதை குறித்து
The former MLA held for impersonation confesses to using a pistol during interrogation, but the police search goes in vain. Ahead of the D-Day tomorrow, CAT aspirants get their online answering skills together despite the big fiasco last year.
It's always a surprise to write CAT. CAT will always give you some surprise.
And Diwali lights up the big screen, promising big fireworks as well. The Ash Akshay combo bring in the bell bottoms and the side locks.
पते करो, कह दो अपनी दिल की बात माँ को।
माँ को? लेकिन मुझे तो बेटी से प्यार है।
And here's a look at what's making news in the rest of the country and the world. Iran declares its victory over enemies as it begins the loading of its first nuclear reactor. The Supreme Court clears the way for the Godhra verdict but asks the court not to deliver judgment on the Jafri case in which Modi has been summoned. Former Satyam chief Ramalinga Raju's bail is cancelled by the Supreme Court. He has till the 8th of November to surrender. Sedition or free speech? As the debate rages, there's some support for Arundhati Roy. The centre and Jammu and Kashmir scrutinise her remarks. And Sunil Gavaskar tells NDTV he has no stake in the Kochi franchise and that he will react to the invitation only after differences are cleared. And Pune-based Venki comes close to a takeover of the English Premier League club Blackburn Rovers. Well, there's quite some embarrassment for the ruling DMK. Two of its MPs made headlines for all the wrong reasons today. Helen Davidson is at the centre of a controversy as she was reported to have pledged support to the building of a Ram temple in Ayodhya. Meanwhile, another MP, Vasanthi Stanley, has been accused of submitting forged documents in court for anticipatory bail. Our political reporter Shabir Ahmed brings you the tale of two MPs who are in the eye of the storm in the state.
It was quite a shocker for Chief Minister M. Karunanidhi when he saw this political weekly that claimed that one of his MPs from Kanyakumari, Helen Davidson, has allegedly endorsed the VHP's campaign for a Ram temple in Ayodhya. That's in sharp contrast to the party's stand. The DMK High Command was quick to send her a show cause notice. Sources close to DMK MP Helen Davidson say she had signed the papers when VHP leaders approached her in her hometown, without even knowing what the matter was all about. While this created a flutter in the party, allegations against DMK Rajya Sabha MP Vasanthi Stanley too hit the headlines. And Vasanthi was DMK's surprise candidate for 2009 Rajya Sabha polls. But the low-profile politician turned controversial after she allegedly submitted fabricated documents to nationalized banks to get housing loans in 2006. Her husband was arrested in the case. But Vasanthi Stanley managed to obtain anticipatory bail from the Madras High Court. But a whistleblower has circulated documents to the media suggesting that the MP has submitted forged documents to execute her bail in the court. Spot the differences on an original seal and an alleged fake one. This document bears the signature of a person called Ramanathan, represented as a Tahsildar. But investigations actually reveal that there was no Tahsildar with the name whoever served in Tambaram.
there may be so many allegations about the public personalities. No. So first, let us see in person. You give the documents, whatever you have, or any allegations, what you are making. Okay. This, what you are talking about, if at all there is any bail petition or whatever, this all happened 2.5 years back, or even more than that. So I don't remember anything. Okay. And I never indulge in anything that is against law. Till 2007, I was a government servant, then I was a National Commission member, now I am a member of Parliament.
With these revelations, the MP has come under a cloud in the party and under the scanner of the police and the judiciary. In Chennai, Shabir Ahmed for NDTV Hindu.
And joining us live right now is our political reporter Shabir Ahmed with more inputs into that story. Shabir, as far as the police are concerned, where are their investigations really headed at this point of time?
Well, after the news came that Vasanthi Stanley has allegedly submitted fake and forged documents in the court, the police are now trying to find out more details about this entire issue, because it is now up to the court to decide whether it is forged or the documents can be accepted or not, because now it has been submitted in the court. So now it is the ball is in the court's bastion. So definitely they will have to look into this, and once they communicate with the city police, then definitely the city police will move to the Madras High Court for cancelling Vasanthi Stanley's bail petition. So that is something, the procedure which is now which has been told to us by some of our official sources in the police department. And also what we have been told is that the police are now trying to look into this issue, and to they are trying to find out the details, more details about this entire case, so that they can proceed at an appropriate time. But definitely when Vasanthi Stanley arrives here, we will come to know what she has to say, but already she has made it very clear that she is not involved into this. So we will have to wait and see, Evelyn, what Vasanthi Stanley has to say about this entire incident.
Right. Thanks very much indeed, Shabir, for joining us with that. The war has lasted for 37 days and counting. Well, the face-off between the Neyveli Lignite Corporation management and its striking workers show no signs of getting over. The Chief Minister has now asked the workers to dissolve the strike, promising to take up their issues at the centre. But as far as the workers are concerned, they're not in a hurry to call off their strike. Ramanathan follows the NLC strike trail.
The standoff refuses to die down. The contract workers asking for a pay hike and permanency, and the management not willing to meet these demands. The strike started on the night of 19 September. A flash strike with 13,000 contract workers across all trade unions stopping work. More than a dozen round of talks between the NLC management and the striking employees have happened since then. The first one on September 27th. Since then, all these talks have failed and the protests have only intensified. On October 12th, the chief opposition leader Jayalalitha decides to lend her support to the striking employees. Later, the PMK and the AIDMK intensified the protests politically. On October 15th, the Chief Minister Karunanidhi intervenes and writes a letter to the Prime Minister asking him for his help. But after that, the situation only worsened, with even the permanent employees giving a strike notice on October 25th. On Tuesday, the Chief Minister has promised to take up the cause of the workers at the centre.
எங்கள் கோரிக்கையை அவர் பரிசீலித்து மத்திய அரசோடு பேசி நல்ல ஒரு சுமூகமான ஒரு முடிவை நான் எடுக்கிறேன் என்கிற நல்ல ஒரு வாக்குறுதியை தந்திருக்கிறார். அந்த வாக்குறுதியின் அடிப்படையில் இந்த தொழிலாளர்களின் போராட்டத்தை முடிவுக்கு கொண்டு வர வேண்டும் என்கிற கோரிக்கையும் அரசு தரப்பில் எங்களிடத்தில் வைக்கப்பட்டுள்ளது. அந்த உறுதிமொழியை ஏற்று நாங்கள் போராட்டத்தை கைவிடுவதா போராட்டத்தை தொடர்வதா என்பதை குறித்து கலந்து பேசி அதற்கு பிறகு மாண்புமிகு முதலமைச்சர் அவர்களுக்கு நாங்கள் தகவல் தெரிவிக்கிறோம்.
No official data is out on how much of a loss in power production the strike has caused so far. In Chennai, Ramanathan for NDTV Hindu.
Well, there is going to be a meeting tomorrow between the management and the workers, and our reporter Ramanathan told us what that would hold for either parties.
We have to remember that tomorrow was actually a day which was supposed to be marred with protests. Before this meeting between the NLC contract workers and the Chief Minister happened tomorrow, all these trade unions actually decided to go ahead with the protest against the NLC management, since the situation was not resolved. But as we know, after the Chief Minister's meeting today, they have decided to call that protest off and instead have another meeting. We already know that about 12 meetings have happened, and this is probably the 13th or the 14th meeting between the NLC management and the contract workers. What we can really expect is, again, some kind of resolution and some kind of solution to this problem. Now things are looking like they have made some headway, because they were talking about taking off, pulling back from the protest and dissolving the strike today. So there is going to be some positive attitude tomorrow in that meeting, Evelyn. So we are definitely looking forward for that meeting tomorrow to see if there is some solution which is arrived at.
Well, moving to news from the opposition party's camp, J. Jayalalitha has stepped up on the accelerator for the big polls that's up ahead. She held discussions today with her district secretaries to oversee the preparations for the assembly elections next year. The AIDMK chief also reviewed the list of election committees that have been formed and advised the district secretaries to prepare for the campaign up ahead. The former DMK MLA, 43-year-old Ravi Shankar, who posed as an official from the Income Tax Department, has confessed that he had thrown his unlicensed pistol into the Kuam River. That was during police interrogation that he did let that information out. However, the search spearheaded by the police, along with the fire and rescue services, ended in vain. Ravi Shankar was interrogated by the police for the past 5 days and was produced before the Saidapet court this evening. The magistrate remanded him under judicial custody. Well, in some tragic news, a 13-year-old boy who was a flower vendor was crushed to death in a lift in an apartment in the Amjukere area today. Police are still investigating what the reasons could have been that really led to that unfortunate accident. But joining us right now is our reporter Salim, who joins us live. Salim, does this incident really, in a way, expose the fact that when it comes to safety standards at apartments like the ones we may perhaps be living in, could be flouting a lot of the norms?
Absolutely, Evelyn. Bureau of Indian Standards usually prepares the code of practice for installation and maintenance of these electrical lifts. Now, what's more disturbing is that sources say that these lifts are unregulated, and they add that most of the lifts in the city are unregulated. And this is one such incident. Not so long ago, a son of an IPS officer was trapped in a lift. Fortunately, he escaped without any injuries. And sources say that this is just a tip of the iceberg, and there are more number of such lifts in Chennai alone. And this particular incident in which the 13-year-old boy was crushed to death is just a wake-up call for the Bureau of Indian Standards to step in. Evelyn?
Right. Thanks very much indeed for Salim for that, but certainly a loss of a young one's life there, but hope the authorities does plan to get their act together. Well, still ahead on the bulletin, we bring you the fortifying touch to the Malar Hospital as it goes in for an image makeover.